Hello children, today we will discuss the rest of the chapter 1 history, what, where, how and when. Now we want to study about names of the land. Names of the land. The land means India. The two words we often use for our country are India and Bharat. The word India came from the Indus called Sindhu in Sanskrit. The Iranians are the Greeks who came through the northwest about 2500 years ago and were familiar with the Indus, called it the Hindos or the Indus. And the land to the east of the river was called India. The name Bharata was used for a group of people who lived in the northwest and who are mentioned in the Rig Veda. The earliest composition in Sanskrit dated about 3500 years ago. Later it was used for the country. So you can see in the map, this is Indus, the river Indus. It is also known as Sindhu in Sanskrit language, and this is river Indus. People from Iran and Iranians and Greek people who came from the northwest, they came to India and they were familiar with this river Indus, and they called India the land, that is the land to the east of the Indus river as Hindos or Indos. Then came after years it changed as India. And the second name, that is Bharat. Bharat came from a group of people who lived in the northwest in India. A group of people who lived in northwest of India were called Bharata, and the name was mentioned in Rig Veda, which was written before about 3500 years ago. And so the name Bharata, the people of Bharata's kingdom, maybe known as Bharata. So the land was known as Bharata. Now let's study about finding out about the past. What can we find? How can we find out about our past? There are several ways to finding out about the past. One is to search for and read books that were written long ago. These are called manuscripts because they were written by hand. So the first way of finding out about our past. How can we find out about our past? The first way is that from the manuscripts. Manuscripts means hand in Latin. In Latin language, it means hand, and the scripts means writings, so which is written by hand, that is called manuscripts. We can find out so many things about our past through the manuscripts which are written long years ago by some people called scribes. Then these manuscripts were usually written on palm leaf or on the specially prepared bark of a tree known as the birch tree. It is at that time paper was not invented, and at that time people wrote on the palm leaf, and also the bark of a tree known as birch, which grows in the Himalayas. So that is manuscripts written by hand and on palm leaf and bark of a tree known as the birch tree. Over the years, many manuscripts were eaten away by the insects. Some were destroyed, but many have survived. Often preserved in temples and monasteries, these books dealt with all kinds of subjects, religious beliefs, practices. So these books were dealt with. We can find out so many things in these books about religious books, where the religious beliefs ke bare mein likhe the, and practices, religious beliefs, and the lives of kings, about the life of kings, which battles they won, and the king defeated whom, and about his family, and all these things we can know about from this manuscript, beliefs and practice. And then medicine and science, about medicine, about science. And there were also epics, poems, plays. Epics were there, stories were there, poems were there, plays were there. So all these things, we can find all these things about the past from manuscripts. And these manuscripts were mostly written in language of Sanskrit language, and in Tamil also, Tamil, Sanskrit, and some other and one other language was Prakrit. This Prakrit language was spoken by the people by ordinary people. So 3 languages: Sanskrit, Tamil, and Prakrit, the language of ordinary people. The manuscripts were written in these 3 languages. So now let's go to the second point, second way of how we get knowledge about the past. We can also study inscriptions. That is, the second one is inscriptions. These are writings. Inscriptions means are writings on hard surfaces, such as stone or metal. Sometimes kings got their orders inscribed so that people could see, read, and obey them. There are other kings of other kinds of inscriptions as well, where men and women, including kings and queens, recorded that what they did. For example, kings often kept records of victories in battle. We can also find out inscriptions. Inscriptions means the writings on hard surfaces, such as rocks, pillars, and we can also find some inscriptions on monuments, on walls of monuments, temples, walls of temples, and pillars, rocks. All these are called inscriptions on hard surfaces, writings on hard surfaces. They are called inscriptions. That is the second way of understanding about our past. Now we can come to the third one, that is archaeology. We can find so many things from archaeology. What do you mean by archaeology? We can see. We can read this. Okay, there are many other things that were made and used in the past. Those who study these subjects are called archaeologists. Means so many things, such as we can tools, weapons, pots, pans, ornaments, and coins. Some of these objects may be made of stone, others of bone, baked clay, or metal. Objects that are made of hard, imperishable substances usually survive for a long time. So all these kinds of objects can be studied, to know about our past. They are the person who studies these things are called archaeologists. What they do, they dig under the surface of the earth. These archaeologists dig under the surface of the earth. That is called excavate. To excavate means dig under the surface of the earth and find out these things like tools, weapons, pots, pans, ornaments, and so and so, all these things, and study about the past. We can know so many things about from these things, these remains. Is it? Then archaeologists also look for bones of animals, birds, and fish to find out what people ate in the past. So by finding out about the bones, when we find out some things like bones of fish, animals, birds, we can imagine that is the people, the early human beings used all these things. They ate the flesh of animals, they ate fish, and all these things we can understand by thinking, by excavating all these things. Okay, now historians, that is scholars who study the past, often use the word source to refer to the information found from manuscripts, inscriptions, and archaeology. So mainly we can study about the past from these 3 things: manuscripts, inscriptions, and archaeology. And the information we get from these 3 sources are called source. These 3 ways are called source. Source means the information. Source means the information found from these ways. Once source are found, learning about the past becomes an adventure. So the archaeologists and historians have to are like dictators. They are like dictators who use all these sources like clues to find out about our past. They only get some clues about our past from the manuscripts, from the inscriptions, and from the archaeology. That is from the remains, of the people. So they have the historians and archaeologists have to make clues, make stories. Otherwise, they have to form some some information, some have to finalize all these things. They have to finalize everything from these three clues, from the sources they get from these three ways. Okay, now next is that it is a heading that you can see, one past or many. If we have only one past or many, did you notice the title of the book, Our Past? We have used the word past in plural to draw attention to the fact that the past was different from different groups of people. For example, the lives of herders, farmers were different from those of kings and queens. You know that, no? So different people have different pasts. The past of a king will be different from the past of a fisherman. The past of a merchant will be different from the past of a farmer. So and so. For example, today most people live in the Andaman Islands, get their food by fishing, hunting and collecting forest produce. By contrast, most people living in cities depend on others. So that is in Andaman Islands. Otherwise, in coastal areas, people live by fishing, hunting and collecting forest produce. But in cities, the people are doing some other work. So differences are there now, and even now the differences are there. The lives of different people are different. Besides, there is another kind of difference. We know a great deal about kings and battles. The battles they fought because they kept records of their victories. So the fishing folk, gatherers, farmers, herders, these people didn't get any time to write about their lives. They were busy in earning their livelihood, so they cannot write anything about their lives. They were very busy in earning. So, but these kings always kept a record of their victories, about their families, their orders, everything. Where every details were written in different forms, such manuscripts and also inscriptions. The kings always inscribed so many things for the people also. Now, the last paragraph of this chapter is, what do dates mean? So in your book in history, you can find so many AD, BC, all these dates are given, such as AD, BC, everything. So like that. So what is this AD, BC, all these things? If somebody asks you the date, you will probably mention the day, month and year 2000 and something. These years are counted from the date generally assigned to the birth of Jesus Christ, the founder of Christianity. So 2000 means 2000 years after the birth of Christ. All dates before the birth of Christ are counted backwards and usually have the letters BC, that is before Christ, added on. In this book, we will refer to dates going back from the present, using 2000 as our starting point. For example, you can read also this. For example, we write AD 180, which means 180 years after the birth of Christ. When talking recent times, we usually do not put AD before the year. For example, we write India became independent on 1947. Here, it is clear that we mean AD 1947. The dates for BC go backwards. Thus, 232 BC will come before 185 BC. To calculate the number of years between the date in BC and one in AD, the two should be added together. For example, 250 BC to AD 150 means a period of 400 years. That's all. The chapter is over now. So watch the video 2-3 times, then only you can understand very well. Thank you. Have a nice day.